magic intro. This is I Can't Deal, non-traditional board games official podcast. I'm supposed to say NT board games. I'm still going to go with it. I'm going to go with it because this is the take we're doing it. Because this is yes. Anyways,
doing it live.
Excellent work.
It's totally live. Oh wait, we have a new voice.
Huh?
We'll intro the guest first. His name is
Nick Tonetti.
And do you like board games?
Okay.
That's about
How the fuck did we invite this guy?
You know what? You invited him,
I get
CJ.
that a lot.
You invited him.
Actually, I kind of invited myself, but, you know.
CJ, let's see if we can talk into the mic. Yeah, you're just going to have to, project a little more.
I don't do that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
We'll have to fix it up. Anyways, I am Adam.
In post.
CJ, you know.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about a specific topic that's about board games.
So just as a little bit of background, Nick and I have known each other on the upwards of 10
Holy
years.
crap, is that right?
It is right. I didn't know what the fuck you looked like for most of that, but
It's for the best.
You didn't know what he looked like.
Neither does anybody else listening to this podcast.
so we met each other on World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was a couple years before we met face to face.
Mhm.
It was love at first sight.
Yeah.
I was about to ask. Good thing I didn't.
Well, actually, it was kind of the opposite of that. Nick and I disagree on everything.
Actually, pretty much everything. Like, literally everything outside of board games and politics. That's pretty much it.
You know, I was really excited that there was going to be some discussion and back and
that's all.
forth.
That's all.
And now it's back to
no, we are.
I like
going
board
to
games.
Disagree about this topic.
Oh, I know. I know he has different opinions about this.
yes. Our topic.
I know you both do.
Are Eurogames.
You're targeted, actually, Adam.
I'm targeted.
Yes, because you said something at MagFest 2 years ago, and it has stuck with me.
Really?
Yes.
Do you remember what it was?
Oh, yes.
Really?
No, let's lead with this.
I'm so 2 years ago, MagFest, we spent all of maybe Friday. Was it Friday? All of Friday or Saturday.
We were playing Antidote and
Good Cop, Bad
Good Cop, Bad
and
Cop.
Telestrations.
Yep.
They were all drunk.
We were
You were
very
also
drunk.
drunk.
You were also,
I don't know.
as if not more drunk.
I don't think so.
You don't know when you're drunk.
You know why you don't think so? Is because you don't have the capacity to remember so.
It's just too much for my mind to handle.
Mm.
I remember playing, and it was fun.
Anyway,
and
I'm curious. What did this motherfucker say?
What did I
So
say?
he said to me, and I'm sure you'll agree with this anyway, CJ, but you said to me that Settlers of Catan is a bad game.
Settlers of Catan is
Outright, without reservation, Settlers of Catan is a bad game.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game.
It's not a bad game.
I mean, it's
It's not a good game.
Yeah, I agree with CJ there.
Well,
It's just,
it's not that it's it's a good game because it's for a lot of people it's the intro game.
It's my
So is
it's the
Munchkin.
gateway. Yeah, but when was the last? When you go to any gaming tournament, I went to Gen Con for the first time and only time in 2001.
with all 15,000 people.
Yeah, I know. Well, there was no. It wasn't Gen Con. It was this other thing where Justin was playing Magic and judging.
Magic
and one room for the vendors and whatever. But at that Gen Con, there was a Catan tournament. Mm-hmm. When I went to MagFest 3 weeks ago, there was a Catan tournament. Where are these Munchkin tournaments?
Washington, there is a couple
I'm not
of
saying they're
Munchkin.
not there, but I'm saying the volume and the capacity is there.
But before you get ahead of yourself, Munchkin tournaments.
Yeah. I know it's not the same thing. I know. I'm aware.
Did you have to pick that one?
He picked it.
You picked that?
Well, no. We were talking about
He said
tournaments.
Munchkin is a gateway.
Yeah, he was talking
Yeah.
about this is their first step into games. I know it is a first step into heavier games.
So, and this is kind of leads into our topic, everybody. The difference between Munchkin
And
And Catan.
I don't know. They're so similar.
There's been a lot of confusion
There's
lately.
a level of thinky stuff that happens in Catan versus Munchkin.
There is, but there isn't.
Man. That's a sentence he said.
Yeah, it is. I mean, on your turn, Catan, you roll dice and you gather resources. It's just like, do I build something? Can I try to convince somebody to trade? No.
Well, this is
Okay.
maybe why you've sucked at the game.
I never said I sucked at it.
Well, the
Catan off.
biggest
No.
the biggest thing I haven't played. I've see the thing is I've only played Catan maybe 6 times total. So maybe there's deeper strategery
I'm
that
sure
I'm
there-
missing after playing it 20, 30 times.
Okay, so yes, there is, but the game is finite. Like it's only got a finite amount
Right.
of strategy. Once you've gotten there is an ultimate strategy.
There are builds,
Once you've got it,
is what you're
just
saying,
do
more or
it.
less? Yeah.
it becomes a race to see who.
But then, is there not at that point a trading element? Because I feel like the thing that I like about Catan and Eurogames in general is like a couple things. Is that like you're never directly hurting the other person. You're kind of
passive aggressive.
indirectly, yeah, passive aggressively, yeah, for sure. But you're indirectly, like you're. I'm going to build this road that seals off this city or this hex that you can't get to now, or I'm going to try and screw you on a trade. So I guess that's kind of direct, but so it sometimes they involve a lot of strategy, but then there's also usually a softer people skilly thing to a lot of Euro games. Less so with say like. What you question this?
Yeah, I actually think it's probably far less you'll find a table talk portion of a Euro game. Most Euro games like Agricola or
Agricola is like the quintessential everyone in
silent,
isolation,
standing, looking over the table for 5 hours.
Yeah. Like no one even speaking to each other, and just like I have the great. Hey. You hold your tongue when you talk about Agricola.
Now I'm feeling like I haven't played too many Euros.
Well, that was something else I wanted to talk about. So, so what is a Euro? Like,
what is
define a Euro game?
I think we just did,
but I think there's more to it than just that. Because, so I would make the argument, like for example, Galaxy Trucker, Euro game.
We're going to play that tomorrow night.
Have you not played that?
I own it, and I'm on the fence of whether.
Oh, it's very fun. It's a very good game.
So I would define Eurogames as a puzzle everybody's trying to compete against.
Like they're all trying to complete their own puzzle?
Or complete a better puzzle than the person next to them.
That's pretty much Galaxy Trucker.
Using the same pieces.
Yeah.
You know what that means? That means Karuba is a Euro.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Okay.
This is where I'll defer to your much more vast knowledge of board games.
It's like bingo. Actually, in one of our episodes, we played Karuba while playing, and technically, if you own a copy of Karuba, you can play along with us.
Great.
But it's you call out numbers and you lay down paths, and like you're trying to get your adventurers to temples, and you can either use them as paths, put them anywhere on the board, or you can discard them to move a adventure that many spaces.
It's a space and time management game.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to measure like how much of the path you're laying, and then how much
any resources you have available,
moving people actually along the path. There's a lot of like forward thinking and some luck, depending on like
when stuff gets pulled.
Kind of less luck. So another game we played at MagFest that I don't know what I would call it, but oh my god, I forgot the name of it. The Greek game,
Santorini.
Yes.
That's a strategy game.
Yeah. There's no placement. That's a straight up it's Stratego.
That's
in simple format. Yeah.
So you are slowly eliminating somebody else's options. That is
while improving your own. Yeah, this is true. Okay. Fine.
So in the game, you have this board on an island, and you move a piece, and then you build a tower, and then you get the towers go up to 4 floors, and then you try to get to the top of the third floor.
Third floor,
yes.
Right. And then there are gods that have other objectives potentially. And like Pan jumps off the tower and wins, or something.
I haven't played it yet, but
it's very good.
I have it,
but Euros. So
what? So give me some more examples of Euros, and just because I'm doubting my experience of Euros now.
Ticket to Ride.
Okay, but that doesn't have bartering and human interaction in the sense of the same as Catan.
That one doesn't, because there's no trading mechanism in that one.
And let's be clear,
he disagreed with
I
that.
patently disagree with his
so and as I'm thinking about it, I'm now questioning it myself, because the other one that I played, which was the other topic, and I was hoping to save for a smooth transition, but was well, no, because that's also strategy too. So no, I think you're right. Actually, I think my definition's completely off.
Okay.
Is definitely
So, would you say all worker placements are Euros?
So not
all of them.
There are definitely.
That's a major component of a lot of them. Puerto Rico or
Yeah.
So what would make a worker placement not a Euro?
Well, there's hybridizations. For example,
I have a good example.
Infamy, which we have played, and I love.
It's
a worker placement game, but there's like an auctioning aspect to it.
Yes.
But
auctioning is also relatively frequent.
Well, there's also like a take that element to the stuff that you're auctioning.
Oh.
Like you buy stuff to fuck other people over.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if we were swearing on this podcast, so that's good.
Like one of the first things he said was,
by
cursing.
the way.
No,
So,
because
of
the
cherry.
people I associate with playing board games, definitely make sure it's explicit.
Yes,
There
indeed.
you go.
All right, good.
So, go ahead.
But yeah,
Your example?
well, it was Seven Wonders. I would consider a Euro.
Even Blood Rage is a hybrid.
So I haven't actually played that. I know. Well, because
You're lucky
Jordan
we're not
keeps.
at CJ's place because he's just like, we're playing.
I
no.
want.
Why have you not played this?
Then I'll come over and play it.
Okay.
Because, well, Chris has had it for like 3 months since whenever the thing came out, and
The game's been out for like a year.
It's a year.
has it been that long? I thought it was a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, I didn't realize he's had it that miserable. Anyways,
CJ didn't kickstart it, and he's had it for almost a year now.
Yeah. I got it at PAX East.
okay. But yeah, like he never wants to play it. We always at Magfest we just played Santorini a million times, which I wasn't complaining about because it's a really good game. But I guess it's no, he hasn't played it either. he's terrible. That's him in a nutshell, pretty much.
Right.
But yeah, that's. I guess I would consider. I mean, from what I've read of it, I guess that's a Euro and kind of a hybrid Euro.
It's a hybrid. Like you have there is a lot of combat and table talk and like there's a dudes on the board game element to it, like Risk, which is absolutely not
a Euro. Confirmed. Risk is not a Euro.
But they're like
barely a board
there's
game.
the card drafting element. There's the worker placement element. There's just the points accrual element.
Right.
Card drafting.
That was the first thing I said.
I was looking at earmuffs.
So,
like my impression of Euro, and I forget, it was like over a year ago. Somebody instilled that like Euros are very mathy.
yes.
Yeah.
And when I think of Blood Rage, I don't think mathy.
It's
Okay.
it's there. It's definitely there.
You've never played Blood
No,
Rage.
but I've read the hell. See, this is what I do.
the idea.
So this is what I do. I listen to your podcast.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I peruse Board Game Geek.
Yes.
On the reg. I go through all Dice Tower videos, anything I can get my hands on to vicariously live the life I can, because none of the idiots I am friends with want to play these board games.
Or they do, but then when it comes down to actually,
They just play Arkham Horror. Which that's a whole other podcast I could talk about how much I hate. I don't hate Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror is a good game,
it's just overplayed.
It's played out to you.
and
It's 9 years old at this point.
Yeah, though that's the other thing is it's
You guys gonna
it's
have a
9 years
10-year
old.
anniversary and play it all together?
Oh, we go down to Charlotte usually once a year for either Memorial Day or 4th of July, and we basically just get drunk, cook out, and play board games.
Nice.
And usually when we go down there, the tradition is Sunday is typically the day that we break out Arkham Horror, the 3 board expansions, and the 3 deck expansions, and play Arkham Horror for 7 hours and lose because King and Yellow is horseshit. But Arkham Horror is it's like the opposite of a Euro.
Well, yeah, it's cooperative.
But like in every aspect, I can not just but like thematically, it's super, super random. Everything is random. There's very little randomness in a Euro, which I like, and which is part of the mathiness, I think, because
there's no points.
Yeah, no, you live or you win or you lose. That's it.
So number one rule for Euro, you have to have points.
And
it's up there.
And then by points, you also need math.
This is true.
I guess.
And you get and with there's math and there's points, there's value proposition.
You know what?
It's basically it's economics. Is basically what a Euro.
You know what
is.
game has points and math? Munchkin.
Number crunch. Are you? Is Munchkin a Euro? CJ.
Absolutely not.
I just had to do that. So
there's way too much randomness in Munchkin.
Yeah.
You can when we say Euro, when we say math, we mean you are planning 3 turns, 4 turns in advance, and knowing here's how I'm going to maximize everything.
Which is how I got Gary to yell at me when we played Puerto Rico for the first time, and I was it captain? Is that the role where you ship everything?
I've never actually played Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico is a very good Euro. It's also possibly the mathiest one I've played outside of Agricola.
So there's two of my favorite Euros that one of them just came out, and the other one is Terra Mystica.
I've seen it. I've never played it.
So Terra Mystica is also really mathy. You were planning the entire game in advance. Like your first move, where do I want to be at the end of the game, and let's try and do this thing. Because the game, there is almost no randomness aside from
your opponent's randomness.
What's the other guy gonna do?
Yeah. I like that. That's good. That makes typically, in my opinion, makes. Here is potentially a bold statement.
Yep.
Even though I know it's not a Euro,
yep.
I think I like Euros so much because I played Civilization as a kid all the damn time, and that's kind of what you're talking about. Is you're planning everything out in advance. Of course, there's 1,000,001 components to Civ that don't work. Which, by the way, hot take. I don't think Civ is a good board game. It's a great video game, but I don't think it's a good board game.
I don't know if I would seek it out.
Not a hot take.
I haven't
never played it.
I played one game of it in PAX, and it's not.
Yeah, I don't think I've
You're
ever
not
played
missing
any Civ games.
Ever?
Never.
This is a board game podcast, but
wait, are you talking about the video game or the board game?
I think maybe the last time I played Civ, it was definitely before Windows 95.
Yeah, the first one probably. I think 2 was Windows 95.
So
yeah. So, anyways, but that kind of is like my influence on it is because it's very thinky and planning ahead, and can I actually take this guy? Do I need to wait for this? Do I need to get this advance? It's and yeah,
so it's Euro minus math. Well, I guess there's a little math
plus strategy.
Yeah.
Plus, yeah.
Plus Gandhi with nukes.
The only thing I really understood about Civ is that there's still a dudes on the board element.
Yes, that'd be the strategy part. If you took out all the military stuff, it would totally be a Euro. Because you're talking about technology advances, placing improvements on your tiles, city placement, trade routes,
expansion.
Yeah, take out the military, it's completely a Euro.
Got it.
So, above and below. Have you heard of it or played it?
I have not played it.
I know CJ has. It's kind of like a light worker placement, but then there's a story reading.
It's a really strong hybrid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of randomness to it, especially with the stories.
Yeah.
And the story elements are kind of neat, but then the entire rest of the game is the points that you were constructing your village.
Yeah.
And it's no doubt in my mind why Epinia wrecked us in that game is because that's what she does.
Well, she also didn't do any of the stories. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. She knew that the stories were worthless as far as winning the game.
Yeah.
The stories are just fun.
Single-minded in your objective.
I feel like that's, I can't play that game without doing stories. And I don't know if that makes it less of a...
So is that why you didn't play Euro? is because you need like that story element because
No,
they're typically light as hell on story.
Theme, I love theme. I just haven't come across. The one time I was about to play Puerto Rico, they kicked us out of Pirates Tavern.
And then they closed.
Sad panda.
Well, Puerto Rico is like a 2-hour game. So.
Yeah. But no, it was. They used to do this Sunday brunch where come play board games the first Sunday of every month. But they're no longer
We could
there.
play Terra Mystica. I think you did that. Take that one.
Maybe.
I'm a little bit kicking myself for not buying Scythe when I had the opportunity.
Oh, Chris Jordan has that too. It's currently a mouse pad.
Maybe you should just go to Chris's place and take all his games.
Or just wait till he wants to get another tattoo and offer to buy some from him.
That seems like a reasonable ploy.
But yeah, so
Chris, I'm sorry.
No,
He's not.
he's not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry either. Totally being an opportunistic asshole.
He's only sorry that he can't play the games.
Yeah. He is sorry about that.
So Scythe has got like a really strong. It pretends to be a dudes on the board kind of game, but you do not win by conquering. You win by just kind of placing your mech there as a wall and hoping nobody comes fucks with you. Because the entire game is the math portion between multiplying your popularity versus your expansion. If you have low popularity because you've been an asshole the entire game and started conquering and attacking and whatnot, you've lost the game. You might control more, but it doesn't matter. So, I would say a requisite, and I can't think of any other game that breaks this rule. You need points, and there needs to be like some forward plotting of like how you're going to maximize those points as the game continues.
Yeah, because worker placement is up there, but it's not in everyone.
Nope.
It's in a lot of them.
It's just a mechanic.
Yeah,
You can have a worker placement and not be a Euro.
true. You can, and vice versa.
Simorg,
Yeah.
that's a Euro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's this worker placement, dragon riding thing, except the really interesting part is that you place your worker down, and you have two different types, and there's two different types of spots, either the dragon rider or spearman spots. Dragon riders can go anywhere. But anyways, on your turn, you either place a worker down or collect workers. So you can keep on placing them, but when you have no more workers to place, you have to spend your turn collecting as many as you want. So if you could have 3 workers out there, you can collect 2, or just collect 1, or collect all 3. Also, you create your own tiles, and if you have somebody on the tile, and like it creates more spaces for people to get resources. If you remove it and there's no one else on the tile goes away, and that speeds up the end of the game. So
The game's got really interesting. I like the ability to
Yeah, that's interesting.
withdraw people, like when you run out, or like choosing not to withdraw somebody, especially if you're sitting on a prime resource that you don't want anybody else to get. You're
Yeah.
like, yep, I'm not taking him up.
So that made me think: is Small World a Euro?
Yes,
Like, yeah, I think so.
that's dudes on a board.
it is.
It is. Well,
It's a
the
hybrid.
workers have dudes on a board.
True.
Literally, they're meeples. They're little dudes.
Well, so there's like a strategy element to Small World, but I mean that's a
Yeah,
hybrid.
yeah.
And there you get to certain points in that game when you do not give a fuck
Right.
what you are doing
Right.
aside from just maximizing
Right.
the amount of
Just-
points that
just
you're going to
I-
get that turn.
Nothing else matters
Right.
about this board
This-
except for.
Thematically makes no fucking sense.
Well,
But-
95% of that game thematically makes no sense. That's why it's amusing. Giant fairies or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Now, Lords of Zidit. I don't know if you've played it. I know CJ has. It is this might disqualify it. It is a programming game.
Oh,
But
it-
you program 6 turns or 5 turns ahead.
Go on.
And basically you're going around from town to town, stealing people from the villages to essentially throw at monsters to kill them, or sacrifice, as I kind of jokingly say. But you go around this whole place, and depending on where you kill people, you can either get 3 rewards, 2 of 3 rewards. One is gold, one is barred praise, and one is like hidden or like additional points, like building towers.
So I think that my problem is I always go for the pure Euro in theme and in mechanic. And that's
some sad dude on a farm on the cover of the box.
Hell yeah.
So that's one.
Give it to me.
You go from,
I'm going to tend that dude's goats.
You're this like magical warrior, and every time you go in, you take the weakest person. And there's farmers and archers, so you're taking farmers. You're just not the farmer.
Yeah, you're taking the farmers.
Yes,
or they're fodder.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I can get down with that.
I like to pitch it as like you're stealing people from villages and sacrifice them to monsters, and the monsters go away because they can come back.
And I think that's why Blood Rage is something that I keep pushing on my Chris to play, is because it is a Euro that also is Vikings fighting in Valhalla. Like,
the most metal thing ever.
come on. Like, they're fighting until literally Ragnarok is happening around the entire board.
The world is ending at the end of this game.
It's happening. There's no, you all lose. Just see who wins the most before it ends.
I think it's also important to think of like what explicitly Euros are not. So one, Euros aren't random.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing, or limited in random, because Catan's random.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean everything has to have an element
They've
of
mitigated
random.
the randomness.
It's right.
And even in Catan, like,
I mean,
it's
a lot of
random,
Euros
but
don't
you're
even have
playing
it.
probability.
Yeah.
On that in that game.
Yeah.
Two, there's no player elimination in Euros.
Yes, that's a big thing too, because like, as evidenced with a certain man who shot me in the face at MagFest.
You really want to talk about backstabbing games, don't you?
Yeah, well, because they played. I never get to play him, and I got to play two there, and Tammany Hall got me salty as hell. But did Helfer tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But yeah, like player elimination is something that makes me sad most of the time. And something like Secret Hitler does it very well, because typically, if you get to the point of player elimination, the game's very close to being over anyways. Like in 20 minutes, probably tops.
Not like Werewolf, where turn one,
Right.
somebody dies.
Did
Right.
I mention this on the podcast? First time ever playing Werewolf.
I think you did. I think on last week's,
Yeah,
and that was your
something like that.
frustration thing. Yeah, I probably would have never played it again.
Yeah.
Actually, I've only played
So
it like
maybe I
twice
should play
anyways.
more Euros so I don't have elimination games.
Yeah, there you go.
The only problem with Euros is that if there's no balancing mechanism,
Oh, if you're way behind, you're
if you're
hosed.
behind, you're just toast.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's the other reason why Tammany Hall pissed me off. Because so are we just going to do this now?
I don't know what are we doing. What are we doing?
Yeah, so let's. Do we want to make any other comment about, because this conversation is about to get hijacked
yeah,
hard.
yeah. I just
We're going to go in a
I'm-
very different direction.
we were all happy and saving the environment with farms and what have you, but
Now the cloak and daggers are coming out. People are getting stabbed in the back. Any last comments about Euros?
shut up, you're dead.
I'm going through my mind and trying to think of what Euros I potentially have on my shelf, and I can't think of any.
I think that's a shame. I think you should.
I mean, I have some like Simurg, which is great.
Right.
So many.
Islebound is a little bit.
What?
Islebound?
Islebound? Do you think so? You sail around in the ship and.
That sounds like a pretty Euro-y thing to me.
Ancient World. I mean, I guess most of my Euros come in the form of worker placements.
Yeah.
And Red Raven Games. All those worker placements come from Red Raven Games. All right.
Artifact Inked, yeah.
Would that be? Because like
Yeah.
Catan, you have the whole dice rolling, but as you said, it was you're based on probability.
Yeah.
Like Artifacts Inc., you're just rolling a handful of dice, and then those are your workers.
Yeah.
So
It's worker placement and probability.
Okay.
Like you are mitigating
and a strategy towards points
by
and
choosing what cards you take or you claim.
Yeah.
You are trying to mitigate the probability or mitigate the chance of your dice rolls.
You know, I think you actually have to make. There has to be points, math, strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I think there has to be something more than that, because I wouldn't call Dominion a Euro.
With a deck builder.
Right, but
I would.
Purely by the definition of points and math and a strategy,
I would absolutely.
you'd call it a Euro?
Yeah,
Huh. Interesting.
because you exercise a strat. You find it's all about maximizing the strategy of whatever card.
I guess if you're calling Catan a Euro, or and by you, I mean me.
I mean, it is the first Euro.
Yeah, then I guess
And
it
I mean,
is.
probably isn't.
Well, Catan. I think Catan
some
came out
asshole
first.
probably knows like what the real first Euro is, and then actually,
Well, yeah, Catan's not the first one either, but it's the first
major
main street.
So would
Yeah.
engine building games be Euros?
It
Like,
depends. Like,
Xenon Profiteer, would that be a Euro? Because it's deck building,
that's-
you're building your engine.
yeah.
Netrunner, it's a Euro.
Resident Evil, the deck building game.
There's no points to that game.
Yeah, there are.
You don't win by points.
Yeah, you do. First to 7.
That's not the same thing.
Magic the Gathering is a Euro.
First to 0.
There you go. Math, strategy. You build a deck.
Anti-math.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, it's still math.
Subtraction.
What? What's that word?
Punch your wallet in the groin and tell
All
me it doesn't
right,
have any
go
money
ahead.
left.
Derail everything. Ruin it
Okay.
all.
Well, no, because this is my great transition. So Tammany Hall.
Yeah.
Have you guys played Tammany
I've
Hall?
not.
Nope.
So Tammany Hall.
I only know about this because Mike and Chris were so gleeful
They were dying. I know.
about having played this game and how
It was really fun.
What's
so?
a reprint? It's like a second edition.
Yes, yeah, it's an
Somebody-
old game from Avalon Hill.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think Pandasaurus Games was the one that republished it. It was like somebody
Yes.
did a Kickstarter and
It was definitely Kickstarter because that's how I heard about that because so the theme is like 1950s 1850s, different era, political machines, Boss Tweed, New York, whatever, and so you have to. It has elements of Puerto Rico. and in Puerto, I mean, really, it is kind of Puerto Rico with diplomacy in some regards. So you have to like place population of immigrants throughout the districts of New York, and then there's 16 total turns. I think that's right. One for, four divided into 4 terms. No, sorry, 20 because the first year you don't have anybody. So.
he's doing the thing that I hate you doing.
Oh, what is that?
He hates me
Getting into the
explaining
minutia?
how to play the game.
Right.
Okay, well, anyways, long story short, you try to get elected using influence and power from the various immigration populations and get different roles like mayor, deputy mayor, whatever. You get one role, it's literally you get to gerrymander people. Like it's stuff like that.
Okay.
And so it is both a Euro game because you are literally placing the immigrants in the different districts in the city, but it is backstabby as hell because there's blind bidding involved with the amount of influence that you have, and you do it in a particular order around the board. So you're making deals with the people in front of you to be like, hey, if I don't fight you here, you don't fight me in this other place that we got. Everyone's happy, capiche. And then you blind bid, and the guy screws you or whatever.
So it's not a trader game. Not
a trader game. No.
okay.
So,
But-
when I say stabby, I mean so the first game I played ever that I really just fell in love with was Diplomacy.
Okay.
It's that kind of game.
So it's more of like
I'm a dirty liar.
Yes, it's exactly what that is.
it's being a jerk instead of
to your
backstabbing.
friends. Well, I mean, but you are you're backstabbing your friends after. It's not like Battlestar, yeah, for example, or Secret Hitler,
Right, where you have a secret,
where you have a hidden role. It's not like a social deduction type of thing. Yeah. Like the deduction, everyone's role is very, very clear. It is to screw everybody on your way to the top.
Which, by the way, this is Rising Sun, the developers who did Blood Rage, are doing. I'm super psyched
I
about this
said
game.
nothing.
So same publisher, same designer, same artist, making a Dudes on the Board game based in feudal Japan, where
Like shoguns and such,
with shoguns
and
oni,
political
and
intrigue amongst them.
Political intrigue is the basis of the game.
What is the name of this game, good
Rising
sir?
Sun.
Rising
It's
Sun?
going to be on Kickstarter sometime in March.
I don't know. I didn't follow it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Talk amongst yourself. I'll be back in a minute.
CJ was like, I'm going to get this. I love this. I love this.
Yeah,
so I figured, like, I'm just going to, like, ignore it.
Yeah, until it shows up at your door with the smiling face of CJ behind it.
Yeah. I figured there's no reason we need 2 copies.
I mean, it's going to be a little bit weird talking about a game that doesn't exist yet. But, so the premise of the game...
So how do I play it, CJ? Tell me, please, in minutia.
Well... One of the premises of the game is basically what you're talking about. Is this diplomacy where you say, like, yeah, we'll have a gentleman's agreement not to do this thing, and then you can do it anyway, and you lose honor. So you have an asshole meter, essentially.
By the way, that needs to be an actual thing in a game.
An asshole
and is a slider the asshole meter. I'm thinking like the super bendy tracker in Betrayal on House of the Hill. It's like, that's the asshole meter. It goes to 10. Yeah. So can I just read the description of this? This is not probably good podcasting, but whereas the
it's words and audio.
That's true. Whereas the distant ancestor of Blood Rage was Risk, Rising Sun claims diplomacy as its distant ancestor. Tackle negotiations, alliance and war, capture hostages, and commit seppuku.
Yes.
I assume that advances your honor? I want this.
All
right.
Like, if you do something
Call
poorly...
Me.
Like,
we'll play.
You could get your own. No offense.
This game is probably not going to show up on my door until January of next year. But
great, so you can play at the same time as Kingdom Death.
I don't know if I want to play that game.
I don't actually want to play it. I'm glad it exists.
Does anybody have it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, some people do.
Does anybody in your circle?
Chris probably bought it.
No, he didn't buy it. You think he has $250?
I think he'll...
Don't answer that question,
I think
actually.
he'll make $250 appear.
Okay.
Yeah, but the question is, did he already sell his Kickstarter for tattoos?
No,
He's like, I got this Kingdom of Death. You want it, man? I need it.
It's like good stuff. But yeah, so Tammany Hall, and the reason I got so salty is because
Mike plays a different game.
There's that. We're not gonna. I won't get into that. I was gonna get into that, but I buried that, and we're good. Ish. The reason why I got so salty is because it's a Euro. If, like you said, there aren't any catch-up mechanisms. Mm-hmm. So if you fundamentally misunderstand how the game is meant to be played, like certain individuals sitting at this table might have done, you were royally...
It's not me.
Yeah, nobody at this table.
Oh. Okay, so me...
Okay.
I thought that was obvious.
It was me. I was just saying, not me, to push it in that direction.
But because it was so... There's no catch-up mechanism, I was just useless for the last 2/3 of the game, which made me very sad.
So you make a good point, and this is probably why Euros don't focus so much on theme, is because what makes thematic sense doesn't always make
fun sense.
Well, or game-winning sense.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Wait, it's like, all right,
Star Wars.
I'm going to bring it back around to a video game. Actually, it's like playing Dishonored. They make you a fucking murder machine,
and then tell you not to do it.
Murder anybody. Like to win the game, you don't murder people.
And that's kind of, I mean, to a lesser extent, there's a lot. I mean, Deus Ex and whatever, a lot of those, but yeah.
Well, I mean, does Deus Ex give you like an awful ending if you kill one person?
No, not that bad.
It gives you the same 3 endings no matter what.
Yeah,
but it gives you.
But you don't get the little thingy at the end that says you didn't kill anybody. Because I dropped that guy off a stairwell one time, son of a bitch. But yeah, it's like, and it occurred to me, like, even diplomacy, if you were shrewd enough, you could be down to your last supply center, and you could still negotiate your way out of it. Maybe not win, but make a good run at it. And it didn't feel like that, like this way in this game. I think because of that, I didn't enjoy it quite as much. And that's the first one of the backstabby games that I didn't really enjoy, because I've played a lot of the ones like Zombies is kind of backstabby.
Is it?
Is it?
Sure, when you populate an entire building with zombies that somebody just cleared out, and then you just, hey, look, they're all back.
Yeah, but there's no.
That's more like, haha, screw it.
That's a take that.
Yeah.
It is kind of a. So what's the difference between a take that and a backstabby?
There has to be some sort of agreement, a negotiation of some sort.
Isn't it kind of tacit?
I mean, if I could see zombies only if like you two were on a team and then you did that and like screw you, we're no longer on a team and you're running off.
I mean,
That's how my zombies games have gone. I think I'm just learning that I'm a terrible human being, really, more than anything.
So there are games that allow for alliance, and like Eclipse is probably a good but bad example of this. But like
One day I'll play that game.
You have the opportunity to
Just ask him.
You have the opportunity to
For the day.
like be a traitor. Like, I have an alliance with you. Oh, I've decided I'm not going to keep this alliance, and now I suffer the points for it. But
Or like Game of Thrones is another one where
oh yeah, that would be a good one.
and that's kind of got some Euro tendencies but it's not even really Euro tendencies.
It's
more
a more
that
complex.
It's just complex. Yeah.
Complex version of Risk.
If Risk didn't suck,
So you're saying Risk doesn't suck, but Game of
No,
Thrones
no, no, no,
does.
no.
So if Risk,
this is not what I'm saying.
well, so if we want to boil
Your beard is obstructing your ears, sir.
we could, if you want to boil down like that kind of negotiation, backstabby kind of game down to its like fundamental elements, I'd say Cosmic Encounters is probably closely approaching that.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I can get on board with that.
Like where you're like, I just need a little help, or like you're totally gonna like go to peace with me on this, right? And then you flip the cards over, and you're like, no, you just totally fucked me.
Yeah. Well, is it
Sheriff
like
of Nottingham, backstabby.
yeah?
No, because like they say you can make a deal, and like you say, oh yeah, next turn I'll do this, but you don't have to honor that. You only have to honor it on your turn.
I would say anything with a blind bid of almost any sort or blind orders of any sort is by nature backstabby.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they just let you like. Why would you hide the information if the designers didn't want you to just screw your friends?
So full circle would Sheriff of Nottingham, backstabby and all, would that be Euro-ish or
There's
hybrid?
a lot of table talk to that game. So I mean, it so far and there's a lot of randomness. Like you
Sure.
can't plan that far in advance.
What you pull out, yeah.
You kind of just have to work with what you got and lie your ass off,
Or be honest.
or try and play it as honest as possible and hope whatever. But yeah, that one fulfills a lot of the Euro stuff. No player elimination, a lot of points. But yeah, there's no planfulness to that game.
Planfulness.
Planfulness.
Yeah. We had strategy and planfulness in. I like it.
You know words.
We know words.
They mean things.
The best words.
Best words.
So, Eurogames. Or did we want to subtly transition to trader games?
Well, so like this is the interesting part about like, well, we were just talking about trader games.
Yeah.
So
Subtle.
He had it and he destroyed it.
Yep.
Like it was just right there, just silky smooth, and then a streetcar named CJ just comes and destroys everything.
Hi. No, I want to like talk a little bit about like the theme in Euros a little bit more, because like there's also that aspect to it. Like nobody gives a flying fuck what the theme of a Euro is. In fact, they've tried to drown out the theme as much as possible to not distract you from what.
That's why
the
they make
map
them
of
all.
the game
Yeah,
is.
that's why they're all white bread. Sometimes literally.
I mean, there are games that, like, if you ask somebody who's always done a thematic game, like design a Euro, like, they approach it from the theme, and everything that you do is, like, back around into the theme. Eric Lang tried to answer this question, and he's like, yeah, the best thing I could come up with was Blood Rage, and that's a fantastic fucking game, but it's still pretty far removed from what
Right.
a true Euro would be. And that's just because you're expected to think like a Viking the entire game.
So a good example of this, I think, too, is last year Mike went in on a game called Carnivorous Raptor, I think it was called. Did you play that with us?
Oh, I remember
that
seeing
game.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Cannibalistic Raptor.
Cannibalistic Raptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And then it was just everybody.
I got
Yeah, you got hosed.
Fuck. I had there was no options. I had no choices the entire game.
But so that game, that game was very clearly, I think, a game that was designed from theme going down.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas what I wanted to actually play, but I never get to play my games, so I bought it anyways, was Evolution, which is the exact opposite of that, I think. Mechanics designed towards a theme.
Yep.
Engine building to make your best dinosaur?
Well, it's not really
Species.
species. Yeah, it's species. Yeah. But, and as a result, I feel like the games are, because, yeah, I guess that's a Euro for sure.
I haven't played it.
It's, oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's victory points and it's like card placement to like evolve your guy to have different traits. Yeah. But as a result, I think that really is what I look for in the Euro, and why I don't care about themes so much is because I like Euro mechanics so much. And so when it goes the other way and they try to shoehorn a Euro from a theme, it doesn't necessarily turn out quite as well.
Yeah. Yes.
But you can have things like Blood Rage,
or
where-
Scythe, or Terra Mystica,
where they turn out awesome.
yeah, where you have this convergence of theme and mechanic and strategy.
Yeah.
And it's like it all comes together and blah, yeah, this is. And those are not surprisingly my favorite games. So
This podcast is sponsored by Eric Lang's Blood Rage. In stores today, $70.
yeah, I don't even know if I know who designed Terra Mystica.
You've played the game. I've not. I just know it's a big box of wood.
It is a big
That's a Euro. I think that's actually another thing we need to add to the definition. How many wooden pieces does it have?
Blood Rage is not a Euro then, unless you get the fancy broken token insert, because there's no wood in it.
which I do.
Looks like it's a Euro.
Yeah. In fact, we can play that when Aaron's out. Terra
Yeah?
Mystica.
Oh, Terra Mystica. I thought you were talking about Blood Rage.
We could also play that too. Fuck, what else I got to do?
I don't know. You tell me.
My life isn't going anywhere. Like, whatever, let's go.
We can play all the games. I mean, I feel like and once again, theme, I feel like my Euro games are theme heavy. Like Simurg. You go on Dragon Adventures.
Galaxy Trucker.
I don't know if
I'm
that's-
excited for y'all to play Galaxy Trucker. That's a good game.
Is that really a Euro? There's too much randomness.
Tile placement, you never affect each other.
What are you talking about? You get in space battles.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
Not in space battles against each other.
Yeah, you do. It's a competition who has the best weapons.
You to get to the end of your delivery run. You fight space pirates.
There's a card that you guys compare for like different cards.
Oh
like,
yeah, you compare, but you're not shooting at each other.
You get damage. You could potentially get damage if you don't have the best.
Correct, but you're not shooting at each other.
I mean,
It's a third party that's thematically.
okay.
I guess you could say that you're in a comp, but you're not directly hurting the other person so much as you're designing your ship
I
to
will give
be
you
the
that.
best.
But there's so much randomness. There's you randomly take cards. You can look at some of the cards if you want, but you have a timer to build stuff.
So
By stuff I mean your ship. You have a
Yeah,
timer to
yeah.
build your ship, and you randomly create a deck of cards, and these cards are what you'll experience when you go on the space adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know when they're happening.
How is the maximizing of points aspect of
The game, the rule book.
So the way it works is you have three phases
Yeah.
of increasingly long trips, meaning more encounter cards. Bad stuff. Unless it's almost all bad stuff. So you can look at advance at those cards as you're building your ship. So when you build your ship, look at the cards because you want to. But there's always one for each deck that is unrevealed. So there's always a element of randomness. But you will know exactly what's coming at you.
Just not in what order?
But not in
Correct.
what order. Right. So you then take tiles from a common pool, build your ship in a way that is best suited to try and counter those obstacles. And you can look at. It's right there in front of you, so you can look at what Adam's building and be like, "Oh, he's got 7 engines. I need to try and get more engines," or "I'm just not going to get more engines," and that'll just compensate in other ways. where I'll have more storage capacity or more weapons or whatever.
Basically, at points you get cargoes.
Yeah, and some of the cards, you can pick up cargo at planets. The cargo is worth money, and whoever has the most money at the end of the game wins. There are end of round bonuses and some other stuff.
Technically, the rulebook says if you have 1 penny at the end of the game, you win.
If the other person has nothing.
No, like the last thing it said, if you have 1 penny, you win.
Oh, because everybody gets a participation trophy?
Yes.
I don't remember that from the rulebook, but
I mean, the rulebook
they lose. They get kicked.
The rulebook
Literally.
is written with theme, and it's like it's constantly
cute.
making jabs.
It's cute.
And so you get a little bit more out of like the theme of, and I'm going to have to stress this tomorrow, is like it's silly. It's
very
lighthearted. Silly. Most people, when I try to teach them, they get so frustrated with their ship, and they're like, I don't want to play, my ship's falling apart.
Can you do things to fuck other people over?
No, not really.
Hannah's going to hate this game. Because that's what she's going to want to do to me the entire
I mean, you kind of could, because you can store a tile, and you can kind of just take tile. Like, you see somebody doesn't have weapons, and just start taking all the weapons, because screw you.
Yeah.
You can kind of do that.
When you're going on explorations, there are planets and stuff. Whoever's in lead, they can choose to go to a planet. So theoretically, there's like a cargo planet. There would be 3 different cargo planets, and maybe you only want to pick up one of them. She could put her ship there to take it instead of you, so you can't get the resources.
And there's certain, somebody doesn't have enough cargo space to take something, so you take something that has more value but fewer spaces, so that they can't take it all. Like they're small,
passive aggressive.
Yeah, but passive, right?
Yeah.
It's not. You're not like shooting lasers at their ship.
There's some
but your
stuff-
ship can fall apart, and frequently does, and it's hilarious.
Your ship will, like I said, I explain it to people, and they don't grasp that, and they get really upset when their
as long as you
ship is just the cockpit and a thruster.
If that.
It's like, oh, that's all I have? Is like, what am I doing? And you can give up, but people are just...
No, that's the point of it. You can, if you build your ship poorly, which you will because it's timed, and you want to get, and there's an advantage. There's an advantage to getting it done quickly.
But
you get to go because you get to go ahead.
All right, technically, how it works, I know why we're explaining.
This is now the Galaxy Trucker podcast.
Yes, they have like spots to flip it over, and then you keep on flipping it over, and if it runs out of time on the first one, whoever sees it flips it over, and you keep on going, and then it gets to the last one before start.
Right.
And it stays there until one person is finished. So one person could rush everything, or if no one's paying attention and no one's finished, you can't flip it over to the last 30 seconds until one person is finished.
Right. So basically, the first person to finish flips it, and that's the final timer. At that point, everyone's done, and they get to go first.
Yeah. So there is an element of grabsy, frantic.
It's slapjack.
But
it's a good game. It's very entertaining. I haven't played. I want to play the expansions. I have not.
I didn't bother with expansions. I mean,
there's a lot of game to begin with. So
yeah, I barely even played. I don't think I've played maybe one full game, if that. I think like after a round or two, most people are very upset about their spaceship falling apart.
Yeah,
that's kind of like
people don't.
But I don't see how. I feel like that's way too random to be Euro.
The timer also.
It's a big pile. All the tiles are face down,
build,
and you're randomly grabbing them. I mean, you can put them back, but then it's face up and helping other people.
Yeah, but
it's way too random to be Euro. CJ's going to come back next week and be like,
because I think because you can see what's coming at you, then you
potentially you don't have to look at those cards. And there's also a third.
You should look at those cards.
A fourth deck that you add in. So there's going to be a couple cards that you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but there are random elements in a lot of the Euro games we've talked about.
Yes.
So, I mean, like Blood Rage, random place dies. Catan has the resources and all that. So, I mean...
I'm not saying...
I don't know why we're getting so heated over Galaxy Trucker.
Too much random.
This game's been on your chopping block for a while, too.
Yeah. It's mainly because last time I played it was 2 years ago, something like that, or trying to play it.
Okay. Well, yeah, well, I will come up with my official review next Monday when we are back here and talking about how Galaxy Trucker is obviously not a Euro.
Yeah, of course. I have no doubt that'll be the verdict.
So what else is not a Euro that you think is a Euro? Now you're on the spot.
Can I ask? I don't think I can answer that question, right? Isn't that just inherently an unanswerable question?
Well, I mean, you can answer that question and say, well, everybody disagrees with me, but...
Well, there's worker placement and Monopoly. Battleship.
Get out.
I feel like it's more of a roll and move than worker placement because you don't pick where you're placing your worker.
The Candyland.
Sorry,
I've got nothing.
We've devolved.
I also wanted to just randomly, because like I don't know next time I'll be on here or not, just give a shout out to Omega Virus and Key to the Kingdom.
Ah, yes.
Those were my shit back in the day.
Omega Virus is great.
Big ups to Omega Virus. That computer, that woman's voice was just like,
ha ha
oh
ha.
god, it haunts my dreams.
If the box wasn't so large, I would own that
Yeah,
game.
it's expensive. That and King of the Kingdom, they're expensive. Like they're over $100.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially if you have the Omega Virus and it's working.
Yeah, well, because I'm sure that little circuit board is not exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
These guys are broing down so hard.
Yo, hold on.
There
I
is-
have
Let me
no idea what's happening in this conversation.
Let me tell you about Hero Quest.
We can talk about here.
Oh, okay,
I played it. I actually had a couple of meetups of it, and like I ran 2 games.
I miss
and then
Hero Quest.
There
You
is
remember Bill, like 6
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
So he owned
Drunk fall down the stairs.
Calm down. He actually owns it, and he's been trying to get me to play that game with him for on the
Like he owns it now.
Yes,
Oh my god. Like what kind of shape is it in?
it's
Because that's like a 20-year-old game at least.
at least.
You heard of Dwarf Saga? It was a Kickstarter, but now it's available. It's, I wouldn't say it's spiritual successor, but a lot of the miniatures look similar, but it's like a dungeon crawl.
Do you have awesome-looking chaos-backed cards for spells?
I'm going to say yes,
A
but
sick
I forget.
gargoyle that is every boss, and the warlock dude who's every
Arms.
other boss.
The arms.
Yeah.
Isn't like Zordon? Not Zordon.
Yeah, no, it's Zordon.
Is it Zordon?
No, it's not Zordon. It's the Power Rangers.
It starts with a Z.
Zorg.
Zorg. No, that's
Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg.
What are we talking about right now?
We're talking
That's
about
Hero Quest.
Hero
The Hero
Quest.
Quest, yes.
The name of the villain that like the DM person
Yeah.
is playing as.
It could have been Zardon. It predates.
Zardon. It might have been. I thought you said Zordon.
I did say Zordon.
Okay, it might have been Zardon. That sounds right.
It's very close to Zordon.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
But
Anyways.
Dwarf Saga, I as everybody says, I have too many dungeon crawls, so therefore I was like, okay, I won't pass on this. Plus, it's more of a campaigny dungeon crawl, and yeah, I don't need another one of those. But if you're interested in Hero Quest and you can't locate a really expensive copy of Hero Quest or somebody who owns it, then look up Dwarf Saga, Dwarven Saga. Yeah.
Oh, look.
Pick up literally any other dungeon crawler. And
Yeah, but the miniatures actually look like it.
Yeah, that's 100% a nostalgia trip.
And Dwarf Saga, the box is a book.
Oh, that's cool.
Opens up, it's a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't a whole lot of cool boxes. That should be a podcast. Best box.
I feel like we would have to.
It'd be pretty short.
retackle
There'd have to be some
inserts.
research.
We have to retackle the inserts.
Ah, okay.
Of course, I did just get a new game that has an amazing box.
I will talk. Okay, so I'll stop spinning this podcast wildly off topic for the last time. If you're talking about inserts, I had to try and go through my Pandemic Legacy deck and reorder it because they fell out of the insert, and I had to just like because it kind of turned and it. Yeah, I didn't store it horizontally, and so I had to like carefully look at the bottom of the things because they're numbered at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I didn't see anything other than the fact that
It took a long time.
there are things that are in there that the form of the things gives away what they are.
It's like here's a character. Here's
Yeah,
here's a new objective.
Yeah.
Here's a what is this?
Yeah, so
I'm going to say it again. Fuck legacy games.
I like that game a lot.
I
It's
don't.
fine. A lot of people
I know.
do. A lot of people do. And I'm not going to
Yeah, we had this conversation, Magfest.
just...
I have 1 month left, and then I will probably just trash the whole box.
Because you can't do
Well,
anything
yeah,
else
why
with
wouldn't
it.
you? Either
Well-
either frame it or get rid of it.
I mean, you can play the last mission over, which why? Like,
Why?
And then also keep it in the potential hopes that Legacy 2, Season 2, continues with it, but
Like
I don't.
import your Mass Effect save?
It might use the same board. It adds a separate island board.
That would be so shitty if they said keep
You can't.
Just the
because
disease.
everybody else
Oh,
who
wait,
played that game
you have to buy it again?
and just tossed it.
Oopsies.
No, I
Matt Leoc
I
just
don't
chuckles
know.
to the bank.
I don't know how many people. I think there's probably a lot of people kept their copy until season 2, and because like it's supposed to be an ongoing thing. So if you you already knew season 2 was coming.
Oh,
Before
here's my
season 1
question:
came out.
why haven't they figured this shit out after season 1? Why is there a season 2? Shouldn't the Earth have just figured out, hey, this is a problem?
I mean, the board is an island, or at least a board in the game is an island. Like somebody leaked it. But yes, it could be a new disease.
I really hope it is like a save, Mass Effect save. That would be hilarious if they just carried it forward.
You can be like, hey, you can use this board or use your own board.
or here's a website you can put in your choices.
I don't, but like, also, most people are probably like, I don't want to use my old board because they did so poorly.
Yeah, it might just like be PTSD for bad.
But
Pandemic players.
it's kind of cathartic about the whole like tearing cards and
so.
trashing.
So
That doesn't feel cathartic to me. That feels like
Well,
anxiety.
well,
so Chris drew the first
destroy the
destroy the whatever spoilers for Pandemic Legacy.
It's past the point.
Yeah, well, it's also like literally in the first game.
It's
So,
not even.
It's not even really a spoiler.
It's like a couple turns in, and then you have to do.
Yeah,
it.
so he drew the card that said destroy this card and draw the next one. And he was just like, so I was like, tear it up. And he's like, you want me to tear this up? I was like, does the card say tear this up? And he's like, well, yeah, but this is your card.
I mean, because like every other game, you're like, oh, I have to keep this card perfectly, put it in a sleeve and a
I
glass
sleeve
protection.
all of my cards.
Do you really?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And then-
I respect you, but
And then
there's no way.
it's kind of like every other card you're protecting, and this you just like strip it, destroy this. After you're done with this,
I've
destroy
probably
this.
spent
Destroy this.
More money on sleeves than board games.
Well, not combined, but I have spent at least as much money on sleeves that would contribute to
At
a
least.
very high-end board game.
I was going to say, could you buy a second season of Pandemic Legacy if you got to import your
He
saves?
doesn't have a season one.
That's
Oh, really?
I haven't played the first one.
Well, whatever.
I'm not
Fine.
playing with CJ.
No, but I mean, I could
Shocking.
I could buy Scythe with the amount of cards that I've sleeved.
We originally talked about it, but then we decided to go with Time Stories, and I went with Pandemic with the girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
Time Stories is like
Is Pandemic Hero?
No, get out of here. Leave.
It's worker placement.
It's cooperative.
it's solo.
Do Euros have to be competitive?
Competitive, yes.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Devil's advocate. Just devil's
you buy
advocate.
the expansion, you can play the Bioterrorists.
That's true. You could do was it On the Brink or
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You were saying about Time Stories.
yeah. Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Oh, I mean, have we completely devolved this conversation?
It's the tail
Yeah.
end. We're about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
No, I like Time Stories 1 because you not only get to replay the game until you maximize it. Like, do you know anything? It's
No, I don't know anything.
it's Groundhog Day the game.
Okay.
You play the game, you fail, you start from the beginning.
With knowledge
With
of the
knowledge.
previous
Because
day.
you're
Okay,
actually
yeah.
going back in time and occupying these vessels or people and going through the same motions in their bodies.
Yeah, it's Quantum Leap
Yeah.
plus
Yep.
Groundhog Day. Like, if you fuck up the first time, just goes back and does it again.
I get behind
Until you've basically solved the mystery or you've done everything perfectly. And like that's the fun part about the game.
Yeah.
Like some of it's kind of obnoxious. Like you purposefully ignore this thing that you knew was a red herring the entire time, but now you're like, but is it now? And now you go down it and you're like, fuck, it is. Yeah. And
You're like, let's go down this dungeon and try so hard and almost die. And it's like, oh, look, you can get to the other side of the wall now, which you could go just by using another door.
or no, it was like you've officially left the area. Please turn around.
No, something like that. It was. But, like, I like the story aspect of Time Stories more than Legacy, Pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, the story-wise, I just don't care. It's kind of like... we got to a point, it's magic hand-wavy in Pandemic Legacy, whereas Time Stories...
They're real characters in Time Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they
Well,
Legacy?
they're real characters.
I mean,
You can name them. real. You can.
But do they have motivation and like? Here's what they're here
I mean,
for.
there are
Legacy's. I don't know if Legacy's there for the story.
people are raving about the story, and that's why they don't want to. I mean, there is.
I mean,
a certain.
I'm only like I said. I'm in February, so
No, there's
like I
a
barely played it.
Eventually, they start doing a lot more story. Not like a lot more story, but like the objective is like it continues with the objective saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, story."
Yeah.
And some of it gets more and more, and then you're like, "That happened," and you're like, "Okay, thanks."
I think the idea of serialized storytelling in board games is interesting, and I think for a and granted, again, I've barely played it, but and possibly this is my starry-eyed the promise of what could be.
Yeah,
but the conceit of that is really exciting. That is something that could go on in the future.
So they just released the Carillion campaign.
Yes,
for Armada. Which is a serialized version of like these different bouts of.
Do you
like,
get to rip up cards?
What?
Is it a one-time purchase that I can rip up and destroy?
No.
Do I get to break a Star Destroyer in half?
Oh my god!
Crash them into each other?
Just, like exploded when you said that. I don't think it. No, don't even joke about that.
If they release a game like that, will you just actually die? Like, no, I'm not doing it. It lives.
The fact that game exists, like, might make me just keel over. No, but they make this map of like where your battles are and like the directions that you'll go.
That's cool.
And, like for winning each battle gives you certain bonuses.
So it's like a campaign map over the core battles for each one.
Yeah,
that is cool.
And yeah, that just came out this past holiday season.
Not too long ago.
Yeah,
a couple months.
Still need to get it. Of course, I still need to play more Armada, but you know,
I don't see any reason why more games couldn't do that.
Do what?
Do something comparable to that.
Campaign?
Put just a overlay, just a layer of strategy over an instance of a game.
What do you?
so
like you say, they're like each battle after a battle, the results of the battle affect a later session of the game.
I mean, that's campaign.
yeah, I mean, so
but just like not non-campaign games that could then have a layer of campaign put on top of them.
Yeah.
Like
I think that absolutely could. I mean, this thing doesn't actually have anything aside from that. Like, there's no ships. There's no.
Oh, that's the whole. So it's
just,
cheap then too.
Yeah, it's like $20.
Yeah,
$25.
Right.
I mean, it's just like rule book. Here's the board, and here's some tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all.
Some cards.
So.
Well, I hope me dogging and trashing Pandemic Legacy makes it better because you have low expectations, so when you play, it's a higher expectations.
Yeah, so now you've lowered the ceiling.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
You know, but yes,
make everything worse by making it better.
Yeah,
or vice versa.
Somebody's got to do that because, like, with the amount of praise CJ gives Blood Rage, eventually somebody's going to be like, "CJ said this game was awesome. This game sucks."
The Yelp review.
Who?
I don't know. Somebody.
I'm going to play it and
some classless motherfucker.
You know, not everybody likes all board games.
They shouldn't be playing Blood Rage. I'm just saying.
Damn.
So CJ's
savage
games every gamer need to play is Blood Rage, and if you don't like it, you're not a gamer.
I'm not going to say you're not a gamer. I'm just saying, like, if you don't like Blood Rage and you like games, either you played it wrong.
One of those statements is a lie.
Right.
Either you don't like games.
I'm like determined. If you don't like Blood Rage, please let us know. I want to and tell us what other games you like. I guess that's the caveat in CJ's rules.
It'll be Munchkin.
What is better than Blood Bowl or Blood Rage?
There is a lot of Blood games: Blood Rage, Bloodborne, Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl. That was another one that's serialized.
That's true.
Fuck that.
That was a good game. I love that game.
I love that game. I liked the potential of that game. I liked that game after like 15 seasons, but for the first 3 seasons,
yeah. When you suck at everything, and then like your star quarterback gets murdered by the ogres or whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of, then final things, since I know I want to wrap up. You know, there's another one in that universe that's coming out. Necromunda is getting released digitally with the campaign.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Necromunda.
Hive World. Hive World in the 40K universe. You're in one of the hives in what they call the Underhive, which is where all of the industrial refuse, waste, construction breaks down. There's mutants everywhere, and you're in one of the gangs in this Underhive area. And it's a smaller version of 40K.
Okay.
So you're talking about 8 to 12 units
They're
as
making all
opposed
these
to
board
armies.
games. They're making a lot of board games. They had like Age of Sigmar and some other one. Unless I'm talking about something else. Are we talking about
No,
something?
this is a digital version of Warhammer 40K.
Oh, okay.
Or a Warhammer 40K
Warhammer
spin-off.
40K Digital has been like really like they've been pushing it for the past year. Like Total War,
Oh, I hope they just straight give us the
Space Hulk.
like that. I'll be like, yo, wife, we need to make a budget because I don't want to paint all these things. But if they're going to be painted for me in a digital format, this is me making the make it rain motion.
I'm glad you actually said that instead of just...
I'm aware. Damn it.
Thank you. On that note of radio-ness, we will end this radio-ness. I'd like to thank Nick for showing up.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do you want to plug yourself? You don't
Personal,
have
isn't it?
to. Yeah.
Ominous Corn.
On
You can, if you don't
I don't
want
even know what I'm
like
on
social
Steam?
media. Play games with me that are not board games. unless you
Tabletop
have-
Simulator.
There
Play
you go.
Tabletop Simulator with me on Steam. There you go.
But yes, that was our episode of Eurogames.
At least some portion of that.
Yeah.
The first 3/4 was Eurogames. Once again, you can follow NT Board Games on all social media. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube because I'm putting out video stuffs, like live streaming some games so you can learn how to play. Like I just did Forbidden Desert this morning. I have other stuff
Are you
planned.
going to be live streaming Galaxy Trucker?
No.
That would actually be a good one to live stream because it's like active.
The problem is I got this fancy webcam that's supposed to do 1080p, but it only like focuses up real close.
Like
for
a
some
face
reason.
cam kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a Logitech TID 50C, something like that. I don't know, but it's like meant for like you put it in front of you and do like stupid monologues like YouTube people do.
Or like green screen yourself
Yeah,
doing a Twitch thing.
but like used it twice for actually technically 3 times, but like 2 times you actually need visual, like Apex Theropod deck builder. Like it's a deck building, and all these cards are out, and like you could see the cards, but like I have to hold. I didn't know until this morning that you have to hold the cards really close up in order to like for it to really focus, even though I have autofocus on. But I played Forbidden Desert, which wasn't too bad. It's just I don't have a good setup, and then the fact that we'll be cooking.
Anyways,
Yeah, so I'm not going to be live streaming that. Anyways, content, and also, I mean, if you're listening to this, it kind of doesn't matter to you, but I will be posting all the podcasts in video form delayed on the YouTube channel. So if you don't want to listen to this on iTunes or SoundCloud or all the other places that have it, there will be a YouTube version as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, content.
Where's our audience?
Yes.
get the metrics up.
Trying to, especially since SoundCloud, I don't know how accurate it is. Yeah. Anyways, and lastly, Patreon. Once again, NT Board Games on Patreon, and you can support if you like hearing this or want to hear more. And I post stuff on there about when future live streams are happening and the like. But this has been I Can Deal, NT Board Games official podcast. I shouldn't say that at the end, but I did.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You can learn.
Bye, everybody.
Let's play some games.
Bye.